Next, we have our speaker, Dr. Parimala Mohanty, Public Health Doctoral Research Scholar, IMS and some Hospital, Odisha, India. I welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Parimala Mohanty is a Public Health Doctoral Research Scholar from IMS and some Hospitals, Shiksha, O. Ashudan Demand to be a University, Bhubaneswar and Odisha, India. She has 4 years of experience in the field of health with an effective leadership skills, enthusiasm in teaching, and great intent in research activities. She currently works in the domain of geriatric nutrition. She was research person for training program on dementia care and management for functionaries of home for senior citizens by National Institute of Social Defense, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India. Also a resource person in the workshop at National Workshop at a basic biostatistics using SPSS at IMS and some hospital. She also serves as a reviewer at International Journal for Equity in Health. As recognition for her outstanding and excellent academic records, she had been awarded gold medal by governor during her bachelor studies and batch topper in her Master of Public Health course. She was awarded with a cash prize at New York Consortium of Universities for Global Health Conference for essay on global reflection. She is a member of International Epidemiological Association, Epidemiology Foundation of India, like member of Indian Red Cross Society, and involved in several voluntary activities. I welcome you, ma'am, and Dr. Parimala Mohanty is going to present a topic under the medicine scheme, concepts of validity and reliability of measurement tools in primary research with example from my ongoing doctoral study. Dr. Parimala, please.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are very audible and your video is visible here, and kindly share your screen so that everyone can view the presentation, ma'am.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome and for the invitation. I'm glad to be speaking in your conference. So here I share my presentation.
Sure, please. Your screen is visible now. Please click on the slideshow button.
Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you click on slideshow button, it will be maximized. The screen will be enlarged. You can see the on the bottom right hand side.
Yeah, it is in
slideshow mode.
Yeah.
Okay. Please continue, ma'am.
Okay. So a good afternoon to all the participants. Today I'm going to share the concept of validity and reliability in primary research. So let's start with the topic validity and reliability concept, what it is exactly. Validity and reliability are used to evaluate quality of research. They indicate how well a method, test, or tool measures something. Validity is the accuracy of a measure. Reliability is about the consistency of a measure. So while doing a primary research, we need a tool to collect data for our research. So in order to have a qualitative proper quality of research, we need to ensure that our tool, the instrument which we are using to collect the data, are valid and reliable. Validity is the extent to which a test measures what it's supposed to measure. There are several ways to estimate the validity of a test, including content validity, construct validity, criteria validity, and face validity. Then types of validity: external validity, internal validity, content validity. In external validity, it occurs when the causal relationship discovered can be generalized to other people, time and context. Correct sample will allow generalization and hence give external validity. In case of internal validity, it can be conducted. There is a causal relationship between the variables being studied. So types of validity, they are external validity, internal validity, and content validity. In case of external validity, when the causal relationship discovered can be generalized to other people, time, context. Correct sampling allows generalization and hence give external validity. In internal validity, when it can be concluded that there is a causal relationship between the variables being studied, it is related to the design of the experiment. And in case of content validity, when we want to find out if the entire content is represented in the test, we compare to the test with the content of the behavior. This is a logical method, not a empirical one. Example, if we want to test knowledge in Indian geographical setup, it is not fair to have questions limited to geography of New England or some other country. We need to contextualize to the setup in which we are going to conduct the research. And face validity, then the tool needs to be validated from the participants. So that is face validity. Then test validity, then construct validity. In case of construct validity, we have different section of the tools, and we need to see that the construct of each of the tool matches with each other. So this is a schematical diagram in which it is shown like validity, how many types it is, internal validity, external validity, then how we need to do a content validity, then face validity, then construct validity. And test valid, in case of external validity, we need to have population validity, ecological validity, test validity, criteria validity, concurrent validity, and predictive validity. So coming to reliability, reliability is like we are seeing over time that our tool is giving the same measures. So for that, we need to do test retest. In case of test retest, reliability is the degree to which the scores are consistent over time. It indicates score variation that occurs from testing session to testing session as a result of error of measurement, so that we can see that is there any error in our tool, that once we are testing and again when we retest using that tool, the findings are same or different. So it is like same test at different times. Then equivalence reliability. So the association of answer to set of question designed to measure the same concept. This is basically a statistical measure in that we use convex alpha to measure the inter-item reliability, which is based on average of all the possible correlation of all the split 1/2s of set of question on a questionnaire, so that we can see if there is internal consistency between different questions. A set of questions belong to one bunch of questions. Then parallel form reliability. In case of a research where multiple interviewers are there and you have multiple, you need especially appropriate when the test is very long. The most commonly used method is to split the test into two using odd even strategy, since longer test tends to be more reliable, and since split half reliability represents the reliability of a test only half as long as the actual test. Inter-observer reliability corresponds between measures made by different observers. Like two observers are seeing the same thing and having same finding. So this is the schematical diagram showing the types of reliability. Test retest, inter-term reliability, parallel forms, inter-observer arrangement. Then what is the relationship between validity and reliability? Validity and reliability are very closely related to each other. A test cannot be considered valid unless the measurement resulting from it is reliable. Likewise, result from a test can be reliable and not necessarily valid. Like I would like to share a example, like a thermometer. If we are measuring, it is showing the same temperature multiple times when we are measuring, so it can be said it is reliable. But when we are seeing it and the result is 2 degrees less from the actual, so it is not valid. So maybe a tool may give us reliable result, but it may not be valid. So reliability and validity gives strength to our research. So coming to the concept of validity and reliability with example from my ongoing doctoral study. The study title is Dietary Pattern and its Association with Health Status of Older People, a study from Odisha, India. So basically this study looks into the dietary pattern and the health outcomes of older adults. So two components are there. So for developing to address the objective of the research study, a tool development process was initiated. In the tool development process, initially a exploratory study was started. Then validity, and this shows the schematic diagram of the development of instrument process. Like first exploratory survey, then we did the validity and reliability. Then finally instrument was piloted in a small scale, and then it was used for the research purpose. Exploratory survey. In case of exploratory survey that I conducted, the data from the exploratory survey were collected from older adult from household living in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. So the questionnaire used in the exploratory survey contained 4 sections. Like we did a literature review, we searched for different tools which are available to collect this data. Then we went to field to see how people, what are their perception, and we made a pre-questionnaire finalization exercise. Then during this pre-questionnaire finalization session, the process included an exhaustive literature review to extract related items, then followed by an interview schedule and focus group discussion to understand cultural uniqueness, along with having a free flow idea from the study participants. The discussion was open, non-leading, and lively debate intended to know regarding the perspective about dietary patterns, eating habit, and food preference. Then the exploratory study helped to determine the factors that are affecting the adoption and non-adoption of food behaviors. Lot of constructive proposition came up with this exercise. The questionnaire was modified in order to include the crucial missed point. The questionnaires were refined again and concreted, then proceeded to the next stage of phase validity. This is a picture that I'm showing regarding phase validity. In phase validity, the degree to which the measures appear to be appropriate to the study purpose and related to construct in the judgment of non-expert, such as the representative of study participants. The study participants were asked if they are able to understand the questionnaire, or they are in the process of evaluating the appearance of the questionnaire in terms of feasibility, readability, consistency of style, formatting, and the clarity of the language used was seen in this phase validity. In phase validity, it is subjectively assessed regarding the relevance of the measuring instrument as to whether the item in the instrument appear to be relevant, reasonable, unambiguous, and clear. In order to examine the phase validity, dichotomous scale can be used with categorical option yes and no, which indicated favorable and unfavorable item. Like if they are able to understand or not, yes or no, in that format, data was collected. Then we went for expert validity. The question framework established was sent to 9 purposely chosen experts to review the draft questionnaire to ensure if it was consistent with the conceptual framework. Each reviewer independently rated the relevance of each item using a 4-point Likert scale. Like if the questionnaire, according to the expert, if the questionnaire is relevant, somewhat relevant, relevant, very relevant. So they have to mark the questions according to this experts. The content validation index was used to estimate the validity of the item. Then construct validity to find the degree to which the item on the questionnaire related to the relevant theoretical construct. It is a quantitative value rather than a qualitative distinction between valid and invalid. For this, we did factor analysis. It is the statistical method to be used to cluster items into common factors, interpreted each factor according to the items having high loading on it, and summarize the item into a small number of factors. Like it was grouping the question of similar type into one construct. Then for reliability, we did a reliability test, examined the ability of the question to consistently measure the attribute and how well the item fits together. So internal consistency, it examines the inter-item correlation within an instrument and indicates how well the item fits together. Then we did test retest. It will be estimated by administering the same tool to the same people on 2 different occasions. So in our case, we took a difference of 2 months on the assumption that there will be no substantial changes in the construct under study between 2 sampling time points, or it will be estimated by administrating our tool and another standard tool. In some cases, people use different standard tool. Like in our case, so we are estimating dietary pattern. So we used food frequency questionnaire. So once we used food frequency questionnaire, the other time we used 24 hours dietary recall method. So these are 2 different, and we can check if the result are similar or different. Then after all this, the final stage of the instrument development process was the pilot test of the questionnaire using respondent whose background are similar to our study population, that is older adults were taken, and the instrument was piloted. So this is the basically a summary of the whole validation and reliability of the instrument of our questionnaire. The questionnaire is OAS HD questionnaire. Preliminary survey was done based on literature and local survey. Then validity process, for validity procedure, we did translational validity, that is content validity from expert, and face validity from study participant. Then we did construct validity. We used factorial analysis to do that. Then for reliability procedure, internal consistency, Cronbach's alpha was used for that. Then test retest was done to establish the reliability of our tool. Then finally, translate questionnaire, forward and backward translation, and piloting of the questionnaire. This is the question guide. It has 4 sections. This is just a clip that I have shared with you. Then the questionnaire was converted. The questionnaire is developed and translated into Odia language. This is the local language of the place from where I belong. So it is translated to the local language. Then a result. The integrity of any research depends on the accuracy of the method used, especially when exploring complex health phenomena. The results of the validity testing on the questionnaire indicated it is an accurate measure. The process used to validate the questionnaire were rigorous and appropriate. While face validity is the lowest form of validity, it was useful in that provided important information about the personalization of the question by the older adult was extracted during this face validity phase only. Then content validity helped assess whether the content was relevant for the study objective. Factor analysis assessed the theoretical construct of the questionnaire. The internal reliability, that is alpha, reached the recommended level for clinical use, and the test retest indicated stability of the response to the items on the questionnaire over time. So coming to the conclusion, the questionnaire is a valid and reliable research tool which can be generalized to a wider population of older people to estimate the health outcome and dietary patterns. However, to strengthen the rigor of the questionnaire for further research, it is recommended to undertake convergent and discriminant validity to examine the similarity and difference of the questionnaire with other tools recommended in the field. So thank you. With this, I conclude my presentation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Parimala. That was an awesome presentation. Now I request the participants to raise any queries if needed. Dr. Parimala, we have one question for you.
Yeah.
How much time was required for the validity and reliability process for the finalization of the questionnaire?
So if I break down the whole process, like for initially making the literature review, you will take around 5 to 6 months. Then after that, you need 3 months for almost to do the validity and reliability, because if you are taking the reliability, if you are doing test retest within 1 month or 15 days or 2 months, so it depends upon the objective of your research. So it varies from research objective. For me, it was 3 months, leaving the literature review part. Literature review was 6 months and 3 months for the reliability and validity.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We have one more question. I need clarity on how the CVI, that is the content validity index, is obtained or calculated.
Okay, so in case of the content validity, it is like we are sending the content to the expert. So the experts are asked on the basis of Likert scale how much the question is like it is addressing the research objective. So they will be giving ratings, and those ratings will be added, and it is most like a statistical technique which needs to be calculated. And if it is more than 80%, if a question is fetched more than 80% of the expert giving it a positive answer, then it is included in our question, otherwise it is dropped out. It is somewhat like that. So it is, the whole techniques is completely a tedious process. Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. We have one more question. Do you know any software to be used to assess validity and reliability?
Okay, so like what I said, validity and reliability, like we need to do for reliability, some use there are multiple techniques like Spearman's correlation. We need to correlate two different tests at one point of time. So for that, correlation can be done using SPSS data or any software that you know, like convex alpha, that is also available in SPSS software. So software is not a point, it is the statistical technique that you're using for your reliability and validity that matters.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the brief. We have one more question. How do you exactly do the refactorization in factor analysis?
For factor analysis, like if I would give example from SPSS, you can go to SPSS and do factor analysis. You need to rank. It is also like a scale. You are ranking the questions and putting it, and then clubbing up. And factor analysis, in factor analysis, it will club up PCA, basically, principal component analysis. So it will club and pull all the factor loading of multiple question into one point. So those who are similar construct, they will be pulled to and have one one factor. So in that way, you can do factor analysis. It can be done using SPSS or Strata.
Thank you, Doctor. One final question. What are the other types of validity and reliability apart from those you just mentioned?
Like I said, there are basically, if I would like to highlight this thing, there are multiple approaches to do reliability and validity. So basically, your research objective needs what type of thing, you have to prefix those things. Like I gave the example of my study. In my study, I opted for validity. I took translational validity. In that, I did content validity and face validity. So that I checked I took experts' advice and I took the participants' feedback. Then construct validity to see how is the construct formation. Then for reliability, I did test, retest, and internal consistency, convex alpha. But others, if you are using multiple interviews to take the do the survey or do the research, you have multiple interviewers, so you need to see that inter-observer reliability is coming or not. Like I will be doing that test and I'll have BP 120 by 80, but you will be taking the BP and it will be coming 140 by, so the answer is not coming reliable. So you have to check that even. So what exactly is your objective, that determines what type of the reliability and validity you need to opt for in your research.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that wonderful presentation.